Keynes, welcome, sir. It's a pleasure.
The pleasure's all mine.
Your agenda.
That won't be necessary. I am the agenda. Tell them I've arrived.
And then tell them I've arrived.
And your name is?
Hayek? F.A. Hayek. With an H.
Freddie.
Yep.
Keynes,
Hey, listen, party at the Fed.
Already?
20 minutes.
Lobby.
John Maynard Keynes.
Oh, F.A. Hayek.
Yeah, we're opposed.
We oppose each other philosophically.
In the same studio.
We've been going back and forth for a century.
I want to steer markets.
I want them set free. There's a boom and bust cycle and good reason to fear it. Play low interest
No,
rates.
it's the animal spirits. John Maynard Keynes wrote the book on modern macro. The man you need when the economy's off track. Depression, recession, now your question's in session. Have a seat and I'll school you in one simple lesson. Boom, 1929, the big crash. We didn't bounce back, economy's in the trash. Persistent unemployment, the result of sticky wages. Waiting for recovery? That's outrageous. I had a real plan, any fool can understand. The advice real simple, boost aggregate demand. CIG altogether gets to Y. Keep that total growing, watch the economy fly.
We've been going back and forth for a century.
I want to steer markets.
I want them set free. There's a boom and bust cycle and good reason to fear it. Play low interest
No,
rates.
it's the animal spirit. You see, it's all about spending. Hear the register cha-ching. Circular flow, the dough is everything. So if that flow is getting low, doesn't matter the reason. We need more government spending. Now it's stimulus season, so forget about saving. Get it straight out of your head. Like I said, in the long run, we're all dead. Savings is destruction, that's the paradox of thrift. Don't keep money in your pocket or that growth will never lift. Because business is driven by the animal spirits. The bull and the bear, and there's reasons to fear its effects on capital investment, income, and growth. That's why the state should fill the gap with stimulus, both the monetary and the fiscal. They're equally correct. Public works, digging ditches, war has the same effect. Even a broken window helps the glass man have some wealth. The multiplier driving higher the economy's health. And if the central bank's interest rate policy tanks, a liquidity trap, that new money stuck in the banks. Deficits could be the cure you've been looking for. Let the spending soar now that you know the score. My general theories made quite an impression. Revolution. I transformed the econ profession. You know me, modesty, still I'm taking a bow. So say it loud and say it proud, we're all Keynesians now.
We've been going back and forth for a century.
I want to steer markets.
I want them set free. There's a boom and bust cycle and good reason to fear it.
I made my case, Freddie H. Listen up, can you hear it?
I'll begin in broad strokes, just like my friend Keynes. His theory conceals the mechanics to change. That simple equation, too much aggregation, ignores human action and motivation. Yet it continues as a justification for bailouts, payoffs by polls with machinations. You provide them with cover to sell us a free lunch. Then all that we're left with is debt and a bunch. If you're living high on that cheap credit hog, don't look for a cure from the hair of the dog. Real savings come first if you want to invest. The market coordinates time with interest. Your focus on spending is pushing on thread. In the long run, my friend, it's your theory that's dead. So sorry there, buddy, if that sounds like invective. Prepare to get schooled in my Austrian perspective. We've been going back and forth for a century.
I want to steer markets.
I want them set free. There's a boom and bust cycle and good reason to fear it. Play low interest
No,
rates.
it's the animal spirit.
The place you should study isn't the bust, it's the boom that should make you feel leery. That's the thrust of my theory. The capital structure is key. Malinvestments wreck the economy. The boom gets started with an expansion of credit. The Fed sets rates low. Are you starting to get it? That new money is confused for real loanable funds. But it's just inflation that's driving the ones who invest in new projects like housing construction. The boom plants the seeds for its future destruction. The savings aren't real, consumption's up too. And the grasping for resources reveals there's too few. So the boom turns to bust as the interest rates rise. Where the cost of production price signals relies. The boom was a binge, that's a matter of fact. Now it's devalued capital that makes up the slack. Whether it's the late 20s or 2005, booming bad investments seems like they'd thrive. You must save to invest. Don't use the printing press, or a bus will surely follow. An economy depressed. Your so-called stimulus will make things worse. Just more of the same, more incentives perverse. And that credit crunch ain't a liquidity trap, just a broke banking system. I'm done, that's a wrap.
We've been going back and forth for a century. I want to steer markets.
I want them set free.
There's a boom and bust cycle and good reason to fear it.
Blame low interest rates.
Nah, it's the animal spirits. The ideas of economists and political philosophers, both when they are right and when they are wrong, are more powerful than is commonly understood. Indeed, the world is ruled by little else. Practical men who believe themselves to be quite exempt from any intellectual influence are usually the slaves of some defunct economist.
The curious task of economics is to demonstrate to men how little they really know about what they imagine they can design.
They've been going back and forth for a century.
With the music up.
And good morning, good day, and good evening, fellow nerds and noobs. Hope you're all doing fantastic out there on this rock, flying through space and time. Welcome to Coffee with a Gamer on Nerd Revolution Radio. I'm your host, Revolution Phoenix, aka El Jose. So we're gonna rock and roll. Yeah, I know. Like, I'm also known as fellow nerds. We're gonna be rocking into just a quick little bite of what is the thing called the Chinese Initiative of 2049. We're gonna look into that. And if you haven't heard about it, well, welcome to the show, and you're gonna learn about it a little bit more with me. And understand a little bit of the CCP and Xi Jinping, who has actually spoken about it. He had a speech. He's talked about the initiative a few times, but we're going to get into one of the latest ones back in 2022, literally about a year ago. From the Washington Post, Xi presents China as a new choice for humanity as he readies for the next term. Right, so Xi Jinping, Chinese leader, pledged Sunday, this is last year, to turn China into a, quote, great modern socialist country that presents a new choice for humanity, as he opened a Chinese Communist Party meeting where he expected to secure a precedent-breaking third term. So they're doing, last year, if you noticed too, there was like, they have their voting, and it's an election. Okay, yeah, just close. Oh, thanks. Close. Let me get the phone. There you go. Turn it down a little bit though. All right. There you go. Xi Jinping, from the lectern on stage at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing, Xi spoke without a mask for an hour and 45 minutes to open the twice per decade meeting that sets the national agenda for the next 5 years. Xi declared that the new core mission of the party is to lead a country united in struggle to be a powerful modern socialist nation by 2049, 100 years after the People's Republic was founded. As the most powerful Chinese leader in decades, Xi promoted his nationalist vision as a Chinese dream to reclaim the nation's place as the center of global affairs. Under the banners that read, "Long live the Chinese Communist Party," and "Fully implement Xi Jinping thought," delegates in the packed hall followed along with their own copies of his remarks, turning the pages in unison, studiously taking notes and applauding enthusiastically. The meeting, broadcast on the state-run CCTV, caught some delegates sleeping. Xi said, "Caught some delegates sleeping. I'm sure they are sleeping for good now." Xi said, "China's great rejuvenation is now an irreversible historical process, and the party had already created a new choice for humanity with its unique path to modernization, a nod to China's emergence as an alternative to Western democracies." The Congress adds, The Congress adds urgency to Xi's ambition at a time when China's economy is slowing, and Beijing faces renewed criticism from Western nations over aggression toward Taiwan and its close partnership with Russia. Which, China's straight up communism, sickle and hammer going. Russia doesn't even have that anymore. The Congress adds urgency to Xi's ambition, and at a time when China's economy is for China to become a military, economic, and culture power, he added, the party will need to navigate abrupt changes in the international situation and be ready to weather high winds and dangerous storms. In recent years, Xi has been placing a lot of emphasis on calling on what the party's leadership to revive a spirit of struggle, said Dali Yang, a professor of Chinese politics in the University of Chicago. When Xi took office in 2012, the smooth transfer of power was seen as a sign that China's political system had evolved from personal rule toward a system of regularized leadership transitions. But Xi defined expectations. With an unending anti-corruption campaigns and an emphasis on discipline, he took charge of the party. The rest of Chinese society brought in line with security clampdowns that pushed human rights activists underground and crushed resistance in Hong Kong and the far western province of Zhejiang. Under his rule, international criticism of China has been met with fierce pushback from wolf warrior diplomats. The gathering will conclude when delegates formally approve Xi's report, pass changes to the party constitution, and choose a new central committee. The committee then meets and appoints a new 25-member Politburo and the 7 members standing committee, which is the apex of power. Okay, so I guess it's like they're pretty much cronyism at what we deal with. Alright, let's see. Xi is almost certain to be reinstated as General Secretary and head of the party's Central Military Commission. Observers are watching who will be promoted to join him on the Politburo for any signs of challenges to Xi's rule or an anointed successor. But after a decade of Xi concentrating power in his own hands, few consider either outcome probable. Term limits for presidency were scrapped in 2018, clearing the way for Xi to rule for life if he so chooses. Jeez. Xi Jinping is aiming not just for a third term, but for a fourth term as well, said senior fellow of the Jamestown Foundation think tank, Willie Wolap Lamb. He has 10 more years to choose his successor. Xi's leadership style, characterized by a preference for splitting people into enemies and friends, means he's not someone who is willing to compromise, said Shen Wen-ku, a political scientist of National Chengchi University in Taiwan. This tells us how he thinks about dealing with enemies. He essentially will not make a concession on his basic principles, whether for China-US ties, relations with Taiwan, or his approach to corrupt officials. Even if there's a resistance, Xi's agenda is unlikely to appear during the carefully scripted Congress. After months of closed-door negotiations between Xi and other top-ranking officials, the work report broadcast policy prescriptions to the party's rank and file. For the party, the choreographed process culminating in a vote by show of hands to rubber stamp the new agenda is a way to bolster legitimacy in line with claims that China, too, is democratic. Many of Xi's most significant updates to China's policy outlook took place at the last Party Congress in 2017 when he announced a, quote, new era. Xi has tried to revive some Maoist policies for the economy, such as focusing on state-owned enterprises, tackling inequality, and creating a system of, quote, internal circulation as a way to prepare for decoupling from the United States and the West, Lam said. All right, so in a nod to these goals, Xi called high-quality growth the primary task of the next stage of China's development and internal circulation. A bid to bolster domestic markets to become self-reliant, quote, should be made lively and reliable. He said the party would continue to support common prosperity, one of his key slogans. Ever stronger party leadership, guided by Xi's personal ideology, was a common theme of this speech. Channeling Mao Zedong, founder of the People's Republic of China, he said the military, the barrel of the gun, must forever listen to the party orders, and the party will never change, Xi added, because it had learned the art of self-revolution to break historical cycles of rising and falling governments. Under Xi's predecessor, Hu Jintao, the party experimented with small moves toward what it called intra-party democracy, allowing a straw poll by senior officials as a way of gauging support for various leaders to reach the Politburo and its standing committee. He scrapped those changes in 2017. Instead, he met with party elders one by one, gathering recommendations, helping him prevent formation of cliques that would challenge his power. It's another example of Xi Jinping's paranoia, Susan Shirk said, a scholar of Chinese politics at the University of California, San Diego. Tighter control doesn't necessarily mean Xi will get the outcomes he wants. In a recently published book, Shirk argues that Xi's centralized power and top-down pressure on officials pushes cadres towards over-enthusiastic praise and over-compliance with Xi's objectives, which can lead to policy mistakes. The bandwagoning of subordinates to prove loyalty and to protect their own careers leads to overreach. Shirk argues that Xi is unlikely to use his third term to change course, and he's really boxed himself into a tough next 5 years. After the Congress, subordinates will be all the more intimidated and fearful unless Xi diffuses his personal authority to share it with other senior leaders. Just before the speech, CCTV interviewed Xi Yang Liwan, an official from the Zhejiang province, the Zhejiang province, who breathlessly praised these personal guidance in development of her village. She said the residents had formed the habit of watching the evening news to see, quote, see what the general secretary was up to, just like you would care for a family member, unquote. And that's that. Yeah, so this was... published last year. So, Xi Jinping and the good old 2049 agenda. I don't know, but it seems that since 2012 some stuff has kind of happened. China may have gotten headway on some economic strength. I don't know how. But, fellow nerds and noobs, we're in some crazy times, that's for sure. Who wouldn't think history wouldn't repeat itself and some kind of human would want to create their own dystopian society by feeling the dick getting hard by being so powerful and telling other humans what to do? I think that's what it is. It's like somewhere along the line, like they never got laid correctly. And then they get their dick hard by just telling other humans what to do. Like they never got that dominatrix thing. I pity him. This song says it all. Let's listen to it for a moment. This is for you, Z. May they find your cock. So today's coffee, we are having good old black coffee. Been drinking without cream lately. Alright, so we're going to quickly go review some of our goals that are behind us too. So our goal here on this channel, we're sharing our nerdiness. For the chat itself, I'd like to reach 500 health in this. We're at 3, we've been dingleberrying around 378, 380. If we can make the 400 followers mark, that'd be great. My goal is to get to 500 by the end of the year. So let's make 2024 the time that we're gonna break through that. On subscribers on YouTube, I'd like to reach 100. We have 67, I think, on YouTube. And on Instagram, right now we're at 1,200. I'd like to get to 5,000. If we can get even to 2,000 by the end of the year, that'd be great. So over the next year to 5,000, that's my goal there. On the realm of my real estate and dancing, we got other things that we're going to be getting into other times, but we'll share that more so. Actually hitting some of those goals too, so... One thing I recommend, nerds, if you have never done, which some of you probably have and have a very good system on, but writing down your goals make a difference. That was for you, ZGP. May your dick get wet. Alright, you may hear the gameplay kicking in. We're going to play a run of Halo here. Huge update actually came in, so kind of curious how it... Yeah. Oh Lord, actually, I think the update's being installed as we speak. I don't think we're going to play today, my friends. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Alright, yeah, we're not going to be able to play the game today because that loading is not happening. No way. Close that down. Yeah, that's just going to lock us up, nerds and noobs. I appreciate you all. We're going to pull it in at that point and not play Halo Infinite. Sorry. Alright, so without further ado, hope you all enjoyed a little bit of a rundown of Xi Jinping and the CCP's claim to retake the world as the world power and move forward with the agenda of 2044, not 2024. 2049 is what they're looking at, not 2044 either. They're Rev. What are you talking about? So look into it, be aware of it, is always key. I think that, you know, humans play these games all too often, but it's pretty prevalent that we do not agree with somebody dictating to your life. I think history has shown it pretty well, but humans, we fall into this gap pretty easily because we justify it. We say, oh, what do we got to lose? I got nothing to hide. I'm good. I'll obey. Yeah, So don't give in to it all. Stay well, stay nerdy, and remember, life is a balance. Enjoy the ride and rock and roll. Peace, nerds.